Sorry, there you are. Invite. There we go. Hi.
Hi. Hi. Oh my God.
What
I'm so
the?
sorry.
No, no, no. You didn't do anything wrong, but I was like, what's happening here? I was like, saying because TikTok has been acting up. So don't worry about that too much, okay? Uh,
Okay.
yeah. So behind me, this is your chart, the placements of your chart. We were all just basically
Googling
ripping
my
on you while you
chart.
were
Were
gone.
you
No, I'm just
roasting me? What did they say? What did they
no,
say? I'm
nobody
fucking
roasted you.
crazy. Did you say I'm crazy because I'm an Aries moon? That birth chart
100%.
girl. Somebody said that chart girl. Cry, 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 cry.
Well, you have a lot of fire. You're feisty, all right? And a lot of
Yeah.
people can't handle that, but that's their problem. You know what I
Oh my
mean?
God, this person said the amount of insecurity, and refusing to work on themselves. Jeez, this girl got to work on herself. Okay, well,
Well,
hold your
maybe,
horses,
but
diva. Hold
everybody
your
does.
horses.
Everybody needs to work on themselves, all right?
So
Astrology is
true.
not telling you anything you can't or have
Yes,
to
let's
do.
not diagnose me with
Right,
anything
exactly.
via
It's about
my chart.
validation, right? And it's about
Yeah.
putting your intentions in the right place. So let's look at your
Uh-huh.
chart in the round way. That way, it'll be harder for people to harass you. Let's look at it. So
I
here,
don't
I'm gonna
mind the
blow it up
harassment.
closer. But here's like your chart. I don't have the generational planets on here, which is Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, because they everybody has them within that age range. They're generational planets, so 8 years or more people are in those. So when we look at your chart right here, the main things we want to look at are what your rising sign is, which is right here, and that of course is Scorpio. So we already have a Scorpio as your rising sign, right? Then up here, that's your sun in Leo right there. And oh, look, there's that moon in Aries. Okay. So those are your big three. Those are the things that people talk to you about the most. And even though Scorpio is a water sign, which is more based in emotion, fire signs are based in passion, right? But Scorpio is pretty damn intense. So they sometimes have that kind of fire sign energy. Somebody said you're perfect because you're a Leo.
I agree.
Oh, that's my girlfriend. Thank you, babe. She's also a Leo. That's why.
Oh, that makes sense.
All right, so let's zoom in because we're going to read your chart in order. Okay, so we can see all the goodies.
Do you
So
use whole
let's.
sign?
No, I use Placidius, which is the most commonly used. Whole sign is the oldest, but it uses fixed stars. We use the seasons in Placidius.
I
So
love
that's like,
that.
yeah, that's why like Aries starts spring, and then
Mm-hmm.
Cancer starts summer, and Libra starts fall, and Capricorn starts winter. So that's how we have it based. So that basically it's like when you look up in the sky and all the stars and stuff you see, they're not in our solar system. They're outside of that, right? Except for the sun. The sun's our only star. So our perspective shows us one thing, right? And all
Mm-hmm.
these zodiac signs, they're in this line across the sky. It's called the ecliptic. It's about
Mm-hmm.
23 degrees different from the equator. So it moves depending on the seasons, right? But that is the backdrop because each of those constellations are a sign, right? And they're a mascot for a certain time frame. But that's where all the planets move across. That's why we picked these particular ones. Because there's 88 constellations, you know? Are you
Whoa.
you're like, whoa.
My mind's
Yeah.
blown.
It's crazy. There's so I love finding well, first of all, I took the gender binary out of astrology, but I also love the scientific research behind it and why things are scientifically a certain way. There's personalities that we've added to things, which could be, adjusted in all sorts of ways, but there's still a lot of science behind it. So,
Yeah. That's why when
uh,
people say they don't believe in astrology, I tell them it's science. It's like a scientifically backed
absolutely.
practice.
Yeah, I mean, you have people like Galileo. Ptolemy was the biggest one in ancient times, but it's not just even the white folks that have a history, okay? I mean, we got Australians, Torres Strait people, Africa, lots of parts of Asia, South America. They all have different ways when I researched
Yeah, and
ancient
Vedic
astrology.
astrology and all that. Yeah.
But what's weird about it is they all have like similar things because the sky looks similar in certain locations and a little different in others, but they all were using the same thing. Oh, it's time to plant. Oh, we should go this direction to hit something, you know? So that's mostly
Hmm.
what they were using it for back then. And then we started putting the personalities in there. So, actually, before I show you this, let me show you this. You'll like this. So, I was looking at other people who have similar placements to you. Okay, so that's Jackie O right there, Jackie Kennedy Onassis. She has the same sun, moon, and rising sign as you.
I did not know that. That's very
Isn't that
cool.
cool? That's cool, right? Now,
Okay.
Demi Lovato has the same sun sign as you. It's very close to the same degree. Yours is, I think, 24 or 25, but pretty close. And then this is Hayden Panettiere, who has both your sun and moon, and she has the closest ones to your actual degree. So
Degrees.
there's 30 degrees in each. So depending on where yours falls and other people's, right? So then
Yeah.
here's Tori Amos, all right,
Love.
which her sun is 28 degrees, so it's really close to yours, and she has the same rising. Now, this one to me speaks the most to you, in my opinion. But maybe it's just because I know Tori the best out of all these people, for the most part. But like when she performs, it's very emotional and passionate behind it. You know, like
Hmm.
she's basically having X with the piano when she's playing it. You know what I'm saying? That's her energy, and I feel like you totally give off that energy. So,
I
and then of
definitely
course,
do. I'm known to um, have a climactic moment on stage when I tune my guitar. So
yeah. See,
we love
nobody
that.
wants to miss that. Okay, nobody wants to
No.
miss that.
And the Andy Warhol, I did not know he was a Leo. That tracks.
Yeah, with an Aries moon too.
I also love doing like which celebrities have the same birthday as me. Like Frances
Hmm.
Bean Cobain and I have the same exact
I
birthday to
did
the
see her on
year,
there.
and
Yeah,
Andy Samberg as well. And I feel like that kind of makes sense for me as well. The
that's
Andy
so
Samberg of it
cool.
all.
Yeah, I love doing the birthday stuff because like it doesn't even have to be the same year. But like as an example, John Legend and I are born an hour apart from each other.
Wow.
But other people that share my birthday are like Denzel Washington or like Gail King or like
Oh,
those
wow,
people.
you've got
And
some good ones.
yeah, but only because I'm older probably. But who knows? I don't know. But yeah, it's fun to kind of show you who it is. In fact, I used to do this thing. I don't do it now, but I used to do this thing called your celebrity chart, where I took the exact degree of each of your major placements, and I found a celebrity that had the same one. So it'd be like your sun is, Jackie O, and your moon is Andy Warhol, and whatever it happens to be. So
That's
that's
really
kind of
cool.
fun. Um, so now let's actually talk about you. These are just to give people an idea of like some of the things that they might notice or some similarities because not everybody's the same.
Yeah.
Would you think all of these Leos are the same? Like
No,
they're
not at
so
all. But I can
different.
see how all of these people kind of make up one Rivkah
Rivkah
Reyes
Reyes.
type thing. Like the log
uh,
line being like Tori Amos meets Andy Warhol meets Demi Lovato meets Jackie O kind
mhm.
of tracks. And Hayden too, I honestly, because the child star of it all. Demi and
Exactly.
Hayden both
I
being
got you.
former
That's
child
exactly right. Look, you
stars.
just read my mind. Also, apparently, Rivka is
Scorpio
psychic.
risings, very, very intuitive placement, honey.
Uh-huh. That's right. I agree with that 100%. So, this is your chart again. We're going to go in. Let's go in deeper, so a little closer so we can see. Okay.
Yeah,
So, on your chart, we have around the edge, we have the signs, right? Which represent the personalities, what we all think about when we think about an Aquarius, whatever. Like I told you, they in the sky, they're represented by constellations. Okay. So, they are the personality that we're going to talk about. Then in the middle, you'll see the houses here. They're numbered 1 through 12, and they are not even in Placidius. In whole sign, they line up perfectly. Okay, but they don't do that in Placidius.
yeah,
And they can vary in degree. Yours are fairly even, but there's a couple that are a little more, a little less. But that's the part of your life where, like, the playing field that something's happening in. And then
Mm.
when we see a placement, that brings a certain focus. So like we give a like little keywords to the planets and stuff like that. So it'll bring that focus with the personality of the sign that it's under and to the part of your life of the house that it's in. Okay. And then if we have time at the end, we'll talk about some of your aspects, which are lines that go crazy in the middle. All right. We'll see how you're
Mm-hmm.
doing. It'll be up to you at that point if you're like, oh my God, I'm done. Okay. So, by the way, how are you? Are you all
I'm
right?
so
How is it?
good. It's raining in New York. It's kind of like Sufjan Stevens weather, so I'm kind of okay with it. Although
Mm.
a couple of days ago it was like perfect and like hot outside. Um, and the weather is kind of just doing its thing. It's kind of Gemini coded, I guess, to
But I've
be
been seeing you
flip-flopping.
everywhere on TV stuff. Like I was watching the SZA Tiffany Haddish movie, and I'm like, what the? Because
Oh yeah, yeah. One of
actually,
them
my
is with
girlfriend was
Kiki
like, "Hey, that's
Palmer.
Rivka,"
Yes,
and
it
she
was
could
so
tell by your
fun.
tattoos immediately. She saw your tattoos. She was like, "Hey, that's Rivka," and I'm
I
like,
think
"Is
the
it?"
director did that on purpose because in the audition he like saw the tattoos and loved them so much. And then the makeup artist was like, "Are we covering those?" And the director was like, "No, you cannot
No.
cover those." So,
And I
yeah.
saw your friend was also in that scene with you. I won't indicate too much, but um, a friend of yours that was sitting across the table in that movie with you. You don't remember who it is?
Oh my
It's your
God.
very, very close friend right now. Hello. She's sitting across the table. Actually, I don't know if her pronouns are she,
In
but
the movie?
yeah, in the movie, who's sitting at the table with you?
This other actress, she was like a background actress that they just
Oh,
put
I thought
there.
it was the chick that I've seen you with in a couple of your YouTube videos and or not YouTube, but your TikToks and stuff like that. I thought it was the same person, but maybe not.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
no.
I was
Are you
like,
talking about
oh,
are you talking about my girlfriend?
yeah.
No, no, she's not in the industry at all.
And what did I tell you? We've talked about this kind of stuff with Rivka's chart before.
Offline, offline. Yes,
Mm-hmm,
yes.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Because as a Leo, you need to be adored for what your lane is, right?
I need to do that, and I also need to do that back, like to the person that I'm with. And it's nice to
You
be
do
with
though. You give them
somebody.
loyalty. If they give you
Hmm.
adoration, Leos are the most loyal of the signs. Honestly, that's
Yeah.
that's what they're looking for.
I feel like it's like loyal good, and then Scorpio is like chaotic loyal. Like loyal evil.
Score. Actually, let's get into it then.
Let's
Actually,
go. Let's
okay.
go.
So
You read me.
Scorpio. This right here is ASC. It stands for ascendant, but it's also your rising sign. It's the point of origin for your chart. You can see that that's where the first house starts. Why? Like where do we come up with this? This was the constellation, meaning Scorpio, that was on the eastern horizon at the moment that you were born. So that's how we know where your chart stops, right? And so then it takes a snapshot and it's like, okay, here's how your particles are entangled with all of these other particles, meaning the planets and all that stuff, right?
Mm.
So, that being said, your rising sign actually is your first impression. Okay. So, how people first see you and how you first approach things. So, definitely intimidating. Scorpios give off kind of an intimidating air about them. Scorpio risings, I'm saying, because, Scorpios are kind of like, you're intimidating. It's not that they don't like it, it's hard for them to approach because they're scared most of the time.
And people often will like use that word intimidating to describe me when they first meet me. Not
Yes.
necessarily like later into getting to know me, but they'll
Right.
definitely be like, when I first met you, I was so intimidated by you. And I'll be
Okay.
like, why? But it's because I
That
have this like kind of look on my face when I meet people where I'm just like brooding.
because you're well, like Scorpios, that saying of like, oh, you should trust somebody until they prove give you a reason not to. That is not the case with Scorpio. I do not trust you until you have given me a reason to trust you. Right. So
Hmm.
that's kind of the energy you come at it with. Like Capricorn risings get that real cold thing coming from them because they're the I don't have time for this. right?
And that's,
Whereas
I mean, I feel like
Scorpios
so
are,
many of my closest friends are Capricorn risings for that reason because they have that energy. I'm like, yes, I
mhm.
understand.
And Capricorns are one of the few signs that aren't intimidated by Scorpio's energy. They actually enjoy it. So that makes sense in general. But on top of that, if you have that as your rising, it's also how you approach things when you're like something new that just has landed in front of you. And you're going to want to make sure, you're going to want to like check and make sure that everything is correct and truthful. Okay. So, like, something new comes up and you're like, is this good? Should I do this? I'm not sure. And that's okay. That's how your first impressions, right?
Yes, I have a vetting process for everything.
Uh-huh. And now I want you to know that because you're Scorpio rising, that means you are ruled by the planet of Pluto. And so you will always have different transitions going on in your life in general, okay? It's life is a giant transition with little mini ones. But this is the house of self as well. So Scorpio rules your whole chart, but it's also ruling the house of self because we go by the lead line. So Scorpio, it hits Scorpio, right? So again, how you are interpreting yourself, how you're learning about yourself and what you are is Scorpio based. You're seeking the truth for things, you're emotionally investigating things, right? Now, let's not forget that even though it doesn't rule it, there's Sagittarius in here. There's no placements that are on the screen now, but there's more than 20,000 placements. So we're just doing the big ones, okay? So
Right. I
we
know
still
for a
have an
fact my
energy.
North Node is in Sag, so
It
that's
is. I
fun.
actually did look that up on purpose because I was curious, and
I,
that it's in
yeah.
Sagittarius as well. And I'll tell you what that means. We can actually, since your North Node is there, we'll talk about it. So, your first house of self with Sagittarius in it, just Sag alone, without any placements, is saying, hey, I want to experience things to make myself better. You know what I mean? I need to experience things in order to transform myself, things like that. So, because that's what Capricorn like, or sorry, Sagittarius wants. They want experience. They want to be educated. Um, and there's more that we're going to talk about here in the moment because having your North Node stands for destiny. Okay, so what is your destiny? And it's in Sagittarius in the first house. So self experience is part of your destiny. Okay, but it's rooted in in Gemini, okay? Because you have a south node that goes up into Gemini, and Gemini are they're bold and fun, and that's your past. So you came from having like, oh, I just learned how to do a gas stove and I gave a TED talk on it. That was your past, and now you're like, no, 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 I want to experience it and see what it's actually like. That's your destiny. It's leading you towards that, and it's telling you to concentrate more on yourself rather than everyone else because it's in the first house. Uh-huh.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I know that that makes you feel weird, a little weird. We'll talk more about that, why that is too. But yeah, it gives that energy there, and it is in the first house. Now Sagittarius also rules your second house, so you can see the lead line right there hits Sagittarius barely, but Sagittarius rules the second house, and the second house is the house of value and possessions, security, things like that. So again, the things that you are going to put high value on, and the possessions that you want to keep are the ones by your experience or education or philosophy are quite valuable. So you want to keep them, right? You want them to be
Mm.
secure. And it's not just like actual money possession, it's like having value in all sorts of things, not just literal money. Okay. And
This makes so
Sagittarius,
much sense. I've never heard it put that way, but it makes so much sense because I've had fights with partners and, people over like my shoe,
mm,
like them flat tiring my shoes or something. I'm like, hey, like my shoe,
you gonna
like
pay for
last
that
night,
shoe?
yeah, like my friend last night accidentally like kicked me in the shin. We were dancing together and they kicked me in the shin and like there was like a stain on my sock from where they kicked me and I was like, damn it. Fuck, that's my sock. They're like, it's just a sock. And I'm like, yeah, but it's my sock.
Oh man, I'm gonna. This is so funny because there's gonna when we get to a different part, you're gonna know exactly where that comes from as well. I mean, it's all tied together, right?
Yeah.
All of these things tie
I mean, I
together
like
and make
literally
you
broke up
you.
with somebody over this. Like I broke up with somebody over like them, continuing to put well, it wasn't the only reason we broke up. We had many issues, like for real. But you actually did a live reading of our
Uh-huh. That's why I was like,
compatibility chart.
uh-huh. Let
But
me see again
one of the
here.
reasons
Seventh house.
why
Yeah,
I broke up
Taurus,
with that
seventh house.
person was like because the yeah, there was like a lack of care for my personal items, like things like t-shirts and clothes that like shouldn't go in the dryer, for example. And there was no like attention to detail on that. I blame the Virgo Venus, right? A little bit on that.
That's no, no, no. I mean, yeah,
But
but look at
also
this. Look at this. That's Taurus, and it rules your seventh house of relationships. Guess what the
gorgeous.
second house is native to? Taurus.
Mm.
You see what I mean? So, I mean, we'll get there and I'll explain why, but that's an earth sign and they want grounding in certain things. So that's probably why. Like,
Yeah.
you are right that Virgo tends to be the sign is like, if you ever wear those shorts out with me again, we're done. Okay? That's totally right in your Virgo energy. Absolutely. But oh man, that's too funny. Okay, so hold on,
Yeah.
let's go back here because we still have to read your third house here. Now your oh, actually, we still have Capricorn. So Capricorn is what we call intercepted. So it doesn't rule any houses, but it gives all of its efficient and effectiveness energy into your second house. So Capricorn, speaking as a Capricorn sun, our energy is, are you kidding me? This could have been an email. Why are we at this meeting? Right? So when it comes to things that you value, you want it to be like there's a reason behind, there's a goal, there's some ambition to it. And that's what you want. You also find value in those things, like being efficient and
Mm.
effective. Time is money feels. They're literally like, if you waste my time, we're done. That's a Capricorn, okay? That's where their
Yeah.
their spot is. Now, your third house of communication, so how you think and speak, right? It is ruled by Aquarius, which Aquarius is the alien. All right, they're kind of the weirdos. They don't do things typically, and they're more humanitarian and altruistic in how they think about things. It's also the opposite or sister sign to Leo. Okay, so Leo's directly across from Aquarius, and Leo's more self versus Aquarius is the world. Okay, so in your third house of communication, it's telling you you're very altruistic. You want people to enjoy your communication, how you think, and how you're expressing yourself. So like through your music, whatever that happens to be, it's not. It might be for you, but you want it to hit for other people. The reason why you're like putting certain things out is you're like, I know there's other people out there that feel like this, and I hope that they
Mm-hmm.
hear this
And it's
and
also
it
why
will help them.
I choose not to put certain things out or struggled past tense for a long
Hmm.
time putting anything out because I wanted to make sure that yes, I liked it, but I also wanted to make sure other people were gonna fuck with it or like relate with it, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, because that's what's important for you. And you have Saturn in here. And Saturn is the planet of restriction, but also results. Okay. So it
Mm,
could sometimes indicate that you may wait too long to make sure everybody else likes it. Okay. You're like waiting a little bit too long. It's like, come on, let's go a little bit. Just because you want to make sure that it's exactly what you're looking for. It's not perfection so much as, again, altruism that's coming into play there. And so, in order to get the results you're looking for, you need to enjoy what you are doing. That passion has to come out of you and people will notice it, and they already do. Like, it's a Leo thing anyway, but you're getting that compassion and, again, adoration from other people. You're looking for that, and those are the kind of results you're seeking here. But your restriction is that you may listen to other people too much on occasion. Not all the time. It's important to get other ideas. Are you okay?
I'm feeling seen.
Sorry, not sorry. That's how it goes, you know? We're here. We're here to do
Yeah.
this for you. Now this is interesting because here is your fourth house, okay? You can see your fourth house, the house of home, domestic life. It's ruled by Pisces. So what do you think that means? Your home life is
I
ruled
feel
by
at home.
Pisces.
I feel at home in my dreams.
Yes.
I think it means I feel at home in my dreams and in the ethereal, not here space,
Yeah,
which
the
makes
unseen. Yeah.
sense because
Hmm.
I used to like to dissociate a lot via substance. So I'm definitely, that definitely makes sense that I used to feel kind of this sense of like comfort in that. Like,
Hmm.
and even now, like I'm sober, but like I don't, yeah, I feel, I definitely feel like I get a lot of comfort from like the things of the astral realm and the like woo, not woo woo, but like witchy, like
Yeah.
dreamy
Hmm.
realm.
Because this is
Yeah.
your, it's Pisces is the oldest and wisest zodiac sign, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it has the
And
ability
even
to
like I
see
feel
the
like mood
unseen.
boards, I feel like mood boards are such a Pisces coded thing, like where I love, I will sit on my phone for hours organizing like, you know, clothing ideas and branding ideas and music, video, visual ideas and just even like fonts and like phone backgrounds and like little like
Yeah.
images like into little folders on like Pinterest or Instagram or whatever, things that I want to put in my house, like whatever dances that I want to learn. And they all kind of just live in this like abyss of like a million different Pinterest boards that just like live in here, but also on my iPhone.
I would actually even say that that is your Aries ruling your fifth house of creativity and pleasure.
Oh.
Quick action, right? But before we go there, before we go to Aries, I want to tell you your home life doesn't have to be your actual physical home, right? And for Pisces, that's definitely the case. It's an intuitive connection. You can be at home anywhere. Like you were just saying, you can go into a dream or your mind's eye of what you would like, and you can feel those feelings of being at home or, like for a moment. And when it comes to your home life in general, you like for other people who live with you to have some intuitive connections with you and what you need at home. So don't freaking move my shit around, okay? Like stuff like that. Well, I know I'm gone for 2 weeks, but don't be moving my stuff around. I know where it was. I don't care if you don't like it there. That's where it is. It's here. It was here before you were. Don't move it. That kind of feeling of like this is my space, and yeah, I'm letting you see it, so respect
Mm,
it, right? Because it's usually just in my mind's eye, so I'm letting you see it, you better respect it.
clock that. That's beautiful.
And so like what you were talking about with like having a lot of stuff to do and things to go, that'll be somewhat in your 10th house. However, when we're talking about creativity and pleasure, Aries is ruling it, which is, of course, the youngest zodiac sign, right? And they're urgent. They want to like, so they're more of a shotgun approach to things rather than a sniper. That makes sense. They're like, let's do this. Let's put that. So like, you'll have like how you were talking about. You'll put ideas for like your music videos or whatever up, and you probably have 12 different ideas. You'll use two of them, right? But that's okay because if didn't have those, you might have expanded upon a different idea that you already had and made it better. You just keep going through them until it gets to the point that you like. In fact, you do it until it gets to the point where you feel good about it because that's your emotions right there, right? So
Mm,
having Aries moon in your house of creativity and pleasure, which is Leo's native house, okay, so you're seeking emotional, basically creativity and pleasure. That's what you're
mm.
looking for with what you're creating, what you're putting out there. Again, you want your emotions involved in it, and you're just like trying to find the right thing. You'll go through a bunch of things to find the right thing. You don't mind doing that because you think it's worth it. Um, Even those little ideas that you never look at again, they have helped you get to wherever you end up going, you know? Excuse
Yeah.
me. Excuse me. Sorry. So then when we look at your sixth house, which is what we were talking about a little bit earlier, but because it starts to Taurus rules both your sixth and seventh house. But first, let's talk about the sixth house. This is your acts of routine, your daily activities, if you will, right? And also your acts of service, I should say. So again, Taurus, security, value, but also luxury, right? So when you have something like Taurus ruling your sixth house, it indicates you have a list of things you have to get done. Not that you've written it down necessarily, but you've got a list of the stuff you have to get done on a daily basis, right? A mental list or not. And you do those very, very structured, very making sure it's done, it's high value, all that sort of thing. And then when you're done working and doing all the things you have to do for the day, it's bubble bath and snack time. You know, I worked hard today and now I'm going to enjoy myself, give
I deserve a
myself a
little
little
treat.
pampering. Yeah. That's also a Leo thing, I think, the treat thing. I deserve a little treat. I just hear my go from there saying that. But it's,
Oh
yeah,
wait,
it's,
so you're a Capricorn dating a Leo.
yeah, yeah.
Michelle, yeah, me and my girl are a Capricorn Leo couple
They're
too.
very good. You know who else is a Capricorn Leo couple?
Michelle and
Obama.
Barack, yes.
Yeah. So, and the reason why I think that is because there's a lot of similarities in like different things, but not stepping on each other's toes. So,
I
like,
know I
I'm a
stayed away for a
Capricorn, but
long time because my dad's a Capricorn and daddy issues, but
yeah.
I think, you know, ultimately my dad and I are very close. We're like, kind of besties. And I
Hmm.
was like, oh, why wouldn't I date somebody with the same side as my dad?
Yeah. I mean, that's, my girlfriend's dad's a Taurus, so it's switched a little, but still that structure. But yeah, because you don't step on each other's toes.
That's very true.
Capricorn is not looking for the spotlight. They're just looking to get the shit done they got to get done, right? They're like, hey, they're the initiators of structure, right? They want to
Ooh,
figure out how to do something. And for somebody who's as creative as you, or Leos in general, tend to have a lot of creativity. People who can ground them without like crushing their fire, basically, are perfect because they're like, okay, well, how about I give you these ground rules if that helps you? Like, not to tell you have to do it that way, but like, well, what if you tried it like this? Because Capricorns are very resourceful, right? So the things that you
yeah.
find that
And
you're
I
not
love
the
being
best at,
asked.
she's really good at.
And I love being asked a question, like rather than told to do something, like ask, like, what if you did this, like more Socratically than like, do this and that'll be better. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like being bossed around because I'm sort of my own boss. But yeah, I
Yeah.
like when I like suggestions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I love, in addition to a suggestion, I always love is like, hey, feel free to like, you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but like, what if you did this,
Yeah. No, absolutely. Wow, you're now like you can read your own chart. I should just put this next section up
No,
for
no,
you,
no, no,
and you can
no,
no,
no.
no, no.
I want you to read it. Yeah,
You're
I
so
just
good
like
though.
the
You're getting
discourse.
it.
I like the
Yeah.
chatting, the banter.
It's cool. You're doing good. So
Thank you.
you've like got it going here. So here we have the seventh house, right? So the seventh house is still ruled by Taurus. So this is where I was telling you, this is the house of relationships. Okay, connections, not just romantic, but also like long-term connections, family, friends, co-workers, whatever it happens to be. And you are a steadfast friend to those people, right? The friends, right? When it comes to relationships, you need security. So you want somebody who's secure in themselves mostly, right? Because if they're secure in themselves, it allows you to be your Leo self without them getting all butthurt and whatever the hell.
Jealous?
Yes, that's the word. Or envious, maybe. Mm.
A little bit
Um,
of both.
yeah, it happens a lot to Leos, and sometimes it's like your plight. It's like it's like thinking about Ani DeFranco's 32 Flavors,
Oh wow.
and thinking about, like, how she says, of course, too pretty is also a burden because everyone harbors a secret hatred for the prettiest girl in the room, right?
Ah,
So
so true.
it's like, Leos feel that kind of feeling a little bit. Like, I would love to be liked. I want to be adored. I want to be noticed, not just because I look good, but because I've done something, right? And so when it comes to your relationships, you want it to be more grounded. You want that person to help you ground as well, right? So, like you're saying with the Capricorn, also Earth, right? Um, they can help be the grounding to your relationship or in your relationships. So if you're ever concerned about, should I do this with this person or not? Like, I'm saying, like, any kind. Should I do a duet with somebody? you know you might kind of spin a little bit because you're like, oh, I don't know if I should do this, and this person can come in and again give you structure for you to make your own decision. Does that make
Yes.
sense?
Yeah,
So
I
they
love a
don't
sounding
come in to
board.
tell you, they come in to give you ideas, or in Taurus's case, what's the structure we're looking for, how do we make this secure, what do you need in order to feel like you're secure in that situation. Okay. Now, on top of that, there's a placement here, and it's Mars. Okay. And Mars is, like I like to call it, your top energy. All right. So you have a little top energy in the relationship area, but it's duality because it's in Gemini. So you must be a switch. You don't have to tell everybody. But I guess just what I read from that. Um, well, indicating with the Mars, I mean, yeah, because Mars is your drive, your energy that you want to be in control of, and yours is in the house of relationships, right? And under Gemini, so there you might be a somewhat, you could be somewhat of a switch, but really, this is the direction that your drive is taking you, which means you want to control the story and the narrative of your relationship. You want other people, even outside of your relationship, to see that you're controlling the narrative of what's going on there. You don't want them stepping on your toes, or you'd be like, oh really, that's silver tongue right
Mm-hmm.
there. That's a silver
Yeah.
tongue. So it also means when you are having a conflict in connections, you may have a tendency to say something you didn't necessarily mean at that moment, but can come back to get you later in the booty. So,
Mm.
but that's only some of the time. Like I'm saying, as long as you realize it, because it's not telling you have to or that's going to happen, astrology, right? Again, it's just saying be aware that you have that ability and that you would like to control the story of it. The person you're with might not care. They might be like, that's awesome. That's the right kind of person for you. You see what I mean? Because
Hmm.
they're not affected. It doesn't hurt their ego for you to do
Yeah.
that. They're like, oh, that's fine with me, whatever. Um,
Hmm.
Now, on top of that, Gemini rules your eighth house, and your eighth house is the house of transformation. Okay, it's also the house of sex and rebirth and power, like stepping into your power, right? So for you, it is a story. It begins with a story, okay, of how you're transforming. And then you can see intercepted in here is Cancer, okay? Now, Cancer is deep emotional capacity. So when it happens to be in loss, like when you've lost things, it doesn't have to be like a death, but it could also just be like property, or something special, your blanket, that this special blanket, or like you said, a t-shirt that got shrunk, some one of those things. um, when it comes to that, you're deeply attached to it, so your emotions are what need to transform in order for you to transform. So also, you're a great counselor to people who have lost things, okay? Because this is like the nurturing energy that comes
Hmm.
from it, and you have the capabilities of handling it, the emotions from it, more than other people, because Cancer's there. They're the master emotional person, right? So they can also use it for manipulation, but in your case, it happens to be in a house of transformation. So you're going to be using your deep emotional capacity to help others as well as yourself work through loss and transformation. Okay.
Yeah,
So
that
that's
makes
pretty cool.
sense. That
All
makes a
right.
lot of sense. I mean, I used to be a reader myself, not astrology, but like tarot, and I mean, I still do tarot readings for special occasions for some parties and stuff, but it used to be my job during the pandemic. I would do tarot readings, and I was a medium. I'm still again, all of these things are still
Yeah, I told
things
you.
I can do. Um, but yeah, things have shifted
Yeah.
career
That's
wise.
that's just like the other day when I messaged you those two random things that I thought about. Like the the possible co-star with somebody and then like the cover of a song. Those are just things that popped in my head that said that they were for you. I don't know what's gonna
Yeah,
happen,
and that
but
day that you said that, I had just saved a video of Joan
the
Jett
song.
singing that song. So I saw a video of her and I was like, wow, like, and you know what? Joan Jett has the same Mars and Venus as me. So
Hmm. She's a Virgo, but yes, yes.
yes.
um, that's why she's always in black, damn Virgos. Uh, but yeah, I mean that's so weird. And as for the other one, who knows what that's about? But in fact, Made It Out podcast that hopefully both of us will probably be on next season. They've just finished their got to do all this stuff. So fall will be the new ones that are coming out. So any of you that have are watching the Made It Out podcast, look for both of us to come up on there soon. But I was just talking to Mal, who's the host of Made It Out yesterday. In fact, I was reading her chart again. We've done it before, but we were talking about it again. And she's a Gemini with she's a Gemini with a shoot. Which moon is it? I think she also has an Aries moon,
Mm,
and she had Leah Delaria on her show,
I
and
saw
she
that.
also has the Gemini, and so it was really interesting to watch their dynamic. Um, and what was the point I was trying to make there? There was a point. I had one. Oh, it's like um, it's this weird. I had talked to her like a long time. We've been friends for a long time, way before Made It Out came out, right? And I contacted her one day, and I'm like, "Hey, can I just call you real quick?" She's like, "Yeah." So I like called her, and I'm like, "You are going to or have just met your person, like your person." And she's like, "What?" She's like, "I did kind of like make out with somebody last night, but I don't know about that." Guess what? They're together and they're still together.
Oh
They're
my
engaged, the
gosh.
whole thing. So that's
Good
what I
for
mean. Like,
them.
I personally like, I don't say I'm a medium or anything like that or psychic because I don't necessarily trust my gifts like that yet. But I have learned to like, if you have a moment, tell them. If it doesn't come true, it doesn't come true. But if it does, it's kind of cool that you were like, hey, guess what? you
Yeah.
know?
And a lot of
So,
my friends are spiritually gifted, like yourself, like myself, like,
mm-hmm,
and get these messages or see these things in the literal stars, hence why it's
mm-hmm.
a science. And, you know, some of my witchy friends will like text me out of the blue being like, "Hey, like I had this dream about you," and you were like, you know, I have a friend who had a dream that I like won a EGOT, like, and they always like,
That's
will send
awesome.
me like my own posts and be like, oh, this is EGOT behavior for sure. Like, and it's like our little thing. And it's a nice reminder. And then, other things like I have a medium friend who was just like, hey, like, just, watch where you're going on the street today. And sure enough, like that was the day that I like got off the train and a car like crashed into the rack of city bikes right outside my
Whoa.
subway stop, and I was just like, holy fuck, like that's
I
crazy, you know?
mean, that
But
kind of
it's
stuff
fun.
happens so weird.
It's weird, but it's like it's good to have psychic friends, you know?
That's true. That's true. I'd agree with that. Sorry, my dog was just like, "What? Are you all right?" Okay, sorry. I got distracted by my dog for a moment. I apologize. So
They
we,
do that.
yeah, we talked about the Gemini, but it all and the eighth house and Cancer, and now we come to Leo. Okay, here we are. Leo happens to rule your ninth house. All right. Your ninth house is the house of experience, travel, higher education, philosophy, and spirituality. So for you, we have two placements in here as well, but because Leo is ruling it, again, it's experiencing things in order to gain adoration or to take something that you've experienced and make it more creative or more pleasurable. Okay?
Mm.
Because that's what Leo means ruling that. And the two placements that you have here, the first one's Mercury. So that's how you communicate, right? And under Leo, again, you're looking to communicate your experiences so that people will give you adoration for it. Because, folks, everybody does this with Leos. They're like, oh, Leos are so egotistical, blah, blah, blah. They're connected to the ego because they're ruled by the sun. But it doesn't mean they're egotistical. In fact, they're
No, it just
actually
means we're
kind of
perfect.
generous.
No, I'm just kidding.
They're fairly, I mean, they're pretty damn generous. However, if you hurt a Leo's ego, if you hurt their ego, they may forgive you. They will never forget it happened. They will always be there. So, just so you know. But if you give them the adoration, right? Even if it's just the littlest thing, like, I can't believe those shoes are so perfect for that outfit, like something like that, that means more to you than somebody just saying, oh, you look hot today. Not that you don't like the, oh, you look hot today, but like if somebody actually notices a detail of something, right?
The specificity, yes.
It's like, oh, you're actually you see me almost. They want to be seen, right? They're a bright presence, Leos. So that's also where the sun or your ego comes in as well, and a lot of that again is based on the things that you've experienced and your kind of different spiritual. There's a lot of spiritual stuff in your. Did you have religious trauma at all?
No, I mean, I grew up going to church, the occasional temple. Um, I went to a Catholic school for middle school and high school, and I kind of always was like down to like be curious and take what I like and leave the rest. I never felt like I was forced into any box of a religion, and I always kind of identified as like agnostic slash spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
Still do, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
I believe in something. I've definitely experienced God or like a higher power. Um, but I never struggle with like, you know, like, oh, because of my Catholic guilt, like none of that.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That the reason why I'm actually asking is because I turned on your Chiron as well to look at, which is not on here. Chiron, it's like a
But
little
she's in
circle.
Leo too.
Yeah, she is. And what having a Chiron, by the way, is childhood wounds. Okay, so it's what kind of trauma you may have had in childhood, and then how you're healing now. Okay, so or trying to heal, and with Leo, obviously has to do with pride, right? But it's you're really good at helping others stand out and feel unique and like you know adored,
Yeah.
but you feel guilty for bragging. That's what that
Totally.
indicates.
That is okay. So that is because I have like the wound of the gifted child, like the gifted
Yes.
and talented program in school and the also the child star thing, like where
Hmm.
I was already kind of different because I didn't want to do sports. I was always more into the guitar thing and I, you know, didn't want to do dance. I always, well, now I love dancing, but
Yeah,
like
I'm
I
like you're at the
was
line
definitely
dancing all the
like
time.
honey, and I love it. But like I definitely grew up kind of marching to the beat of my own guitar. And then the child acting started, and that immediately othered me. And,
Hmm.
you know, my parents would always, you know, say, oh, those kids are just jealous because you're special, because you're different, because you're talented, I'm like, well, I kind of just want to be normal. Like, I kind of used to, you know, be like, yes, I love being this talented, special kid, but I also would love to have friends. I would love to kind of fit in or be a part of and not just be this like novelty to everybody. And it was hard
Hmm.
in high school too because it was so close to the release of School of Rock that like I was just that. And I was put into a box immediately by everybody
Yeah.
in my high school. Oh, she's the movie star. Oh, you know, she and I guess it plays into the Gemini stuff too, like that you're saying, like people kind of putting their own narratives on me and me being like,
Hmm.
don't do that. Like people projecting a certain thing because I had this like level of success as a young kid
Hmm.
means that I had unlimited resources or whatever. I'm like, nah,
Yep.
we were not a wealthy family,
Hmm.
that kind of stuff. But I think that's kind of where the childhood wound comes from,
I
more
mean,
than the
yeah, but
spiritual stuff.
yeah, that could be. Normally, because it's in the ninth house, it'll have to do with some sort of spiritual or maybe even philosophical crisis in your life at some point. So, what you're
Hmm.
describing to me is actually maybe an experience, which could also be the right word. So, experience something young and then having to try to break out of that box could be what it's
Mm.
talking about there. Like exactly what you're talking about, because you don't want to brag because, oh well, I since I was on in this movie, then I don't want to say it because then I'm just bragging or I'm just, whatever. But why not? Right. And in fact, I think that this even leans in because it's Chiron, it leans into what you've talked about a lot lately. You've been very open about like the struggles of being known, but not necessarily like what does that do for you nowadays? It's like everybody's on the screen somewhere, right? So how do you get past being put into that category of, oh, she was on School of Rock and that's all we know her for. It's going to take a minute for people to go past that because School of Rock, first of all, was so loved. So you can look at it as that sort of thing of like, oh, well, that's kind of cool and accept that, which is difficult for you to do because it feels like you're bragging, right? But use it to your damn advantage. Don't be
And
afraid
honey,
to use it
I
to your
do.
advantage.
I do
And
now.
yeah, you have to, but it took a minute, I feel like, for you to like be not to get over
Yeah.
it so much as to just be like, ah, whatever. Like,
It took probably close to 20 years, and still to this day sometimes I feel icky about it. Like there are days
yeah.
where I'm like, "Ugh, do I have
Hmm.
to like bring it up again, or do I have to, you know, make it about that?"
Hmm.
But
Like any of us, like myself or anybody who does something with you on it, what are we going to say? We're going to say, Katie from School of Rock, right? That's what we're going to do to introduce you, so to speak, because that's what the majority of people know you for. Now, pushing them forward and introducing them to what you're doing now is what I'm hoping this helps to do. I'll also be posting this on YouTube, by the way,
oh
so
yeah.
people can watch it the whole thing on there. But yeah, I think that it's interesting that you had to climb that. In fact, one of the other places I saw you fairly recently on TV was at SNL when Jack was hosting, and Brian. I've read Brian before too, Brian
Oh my
Falduccio.
God,
So
I didn't know
yeah,
that. I love my little Pisces. I love
he's
Brian.
he's so sweet. Yeah. So I've done a reading with him as well. And I saw you and Brian. You're in the audience right behind. Who the heck was right in front of you?
Kieran
I
Culkin
forget.
and Bill Burr.
Bill Burr. That's who I saw. I'm like,
Yeah, and right next to me was fellow Leo goddess Madonna. Like she was like two people over from me.
oh my gosh, I didn't even see. How funny is that? I
She
saw
was
you and
there
I
to
didn't see
see
Madonna.
Elton and squash her beef with Elton John. And the beef, honey, the beef was squashed.
Wow, look at this. We're getting some celebrity news. Breaking
Some
news.
tea. You heard it here
That's the cool part.
first.
But could I please say what I have to say about that SNL, because I love Jack obviously, but and his mom is connected to NASA, which I love. She
Incredible.
while she was having him, she's basically on the phone helping Apollo 13 get saved. Crazy, right? Anyway,
So cool.
um, but they did the bass thing at the end. That bass.
Yeah.
I'm like, why isn't Rivkah? Why would they not put you on there? It's
I
literally like the most perfect. I was the whole time. I'm like, where's they're gonna put her on stage? They have to. It's Jack Black with a bunch of bassists.
It would have been such
Like
a
what?
niche reference. Yeah, I was in the audience for that and I was crying laughing and I was so happy and so like pleasantly surprised to get to sit and just watch that. And I also feel like, it was Jack's moment. Like that night
Hmm.
was about him and I wanted to just be there as a friend and like support him and even just like the 5 seconds of screen time like was more than enough. And I will once down the line when I do end up hosting or musical guesting on SNL, getting to point
Yes,
myself out from his episode, however many years ago, you know? So I
that's cool. Yeah,
think
I get
that's
that.
kind of
Okay.
cool,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. I just was like, I was expecting to see you in that one. I'm like, there's no way Rivka's not in this. It's
I was
the
there in
bass
spirit. The
player.
sketch, they wrote it about me.
100%. I agree with that. So, and now we go over to the 10th house. So, here on the 10th house, right here, is this
Oh
line
boy.
right there. Here's the Virgo parts, kids. Now, you do have a Virgo stellium. A stellium is when you have three or more points in the same house or in the same sign. Okay? So in this case, it's in the same sign because MC is always on the cusp of the 10th house. So we would not count this as a 10th house stellium, just a Virgo stellium. So that means a lot of focus brought to Virgo's energy.
Can
Virgo,
you tell me what MC stands for?
oh, I'm sorry, yes, medium coli, which is Latin for top or middle of the sky. We also call it your midhaven. So, like, because we're a sphere, and we flatten it down, that's where the midhaven is, where the meridian line hits the ecliptic, and then it also has an IC that's on the fourth house that it hits, and this is where the equator hits, or the horizon, right, on this side,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a descendant that's on the other side of it. So those are our
Mm-hmm.
four quadrant points that we have. We only just usually talk about your rising and your MC out of the quadrant points, though. I don't know
Cool.
why I just got here. I don't know. I'm just reading. I haven't figured out why that yet. No. So in here, your MC in general means it's your point of ambition, and Virgo, as we know, is all about the details. They want perfection. There's anxiety when they don't have a lot of control of things because they don't want to necessarily hand anything off to anybody. They just rather do it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So it gets done the way it's supposed to get done. Um, and so having a Virgo MC, which I also have a Virgo MC as well, but I'm a Sag rising, so that's why. So you have actually something that's fairly unique. Most Scorpio rising or Scorpio risings are actually what's this one right here? Leo
Leo.
MCs. Now, how funny is that? That you happen to be one of the rare ones that has the MC over here in Virgo. Wasn't that interesting? So I mean, there's a lot of people that will have it. It's just not as common. There's certain ones that are fairly common. So having your MC there obviously says that when it comes to your ambition, you want to know what's going on. You're trying to achieve goals and stuff. You need to know, lay it out for me. Give me the checklist. I want to know everything that's going on with it. Right? Now you have two other placements here. One is Venus, which you were kind of hinting to before, but Venus is your bottom energy, right? So like how you can be vulnerable or even surrender to somebody else. So somebody would have to come to you who's they have their own ambitions, all right? They have their own ambitions and they are looking for their own kind of perfection. They agree with you trying to find yours. That would allow you to be more vulnerable with them. Again,
Hmm.
Capricorns, other earth signs, same kind of feeling because they're grounding you, right? And so you feel like when it comes to being vulnerable, they get it. They get where you are because you're like vulnerable without knowing all the details and stuff like that. If they help support you, that is something you're looking for, or whatever, a thing. It could also be a thing. Mostly, it's usually just this person, but it could be a thing as well. I don't want to eliminate that. And then we also have Jupiter here. Hey Tiff, what's up?
Mhm.
So So, I
Oh,
don't know if you
that's
can see
Tiff.
mine.
I know
Yeah,
Tiff. Yes. Hi, Tiff.
she's giving hearts. What's up, Tiff? I've read Tiff as well, by the way. And Tiff, holy cow, I just got really busy starting yesterday, and it's gonna start going nuts because Queer Ultimatum 2 is coming out.
Oh,
So,
I saw those sun signs with all
mhm,
the new cast members, a lot of air
yeah,
sign recipients
uh-huh,
of the
uh-huh.
ultimatums.
Yep, I've already gotten several of their info, so it's just a matter of getting their stuff. I was known for doing the cast last time, so that's why it's like, hey, I read almost all of you folks.
Oh my God.
Excuse me, but poor Tiff. That's enough said. So love you, Tiff. Keep going. All right. So you have
Stay
Jupiter.
strong.
Yeah, you have Jupiter in Virgo. Now, Jupiter is the planet of expansion. All right. So this is your planet of luck as well. And in your 10th house, it means that you can achieve whatever the hell you want. Okay. I'm telling you, you literally just need to know what the details are. You need the right details, right? And you can do whatever you want because and hopefully, I mean, you don't have to be perfect. You'll want to be, but you don't have to be. Having Jupiter in your 10th house basically means it can sometimes frustrate people because they're not sure what they want to do. They have so much luck in doing like different things that it's hard to pick one
Yep.
sometimes. Yeah.
This is why I'm an actor, writer, producer, dancer, singer, musician. I songwrite for myself. I songwrite for other people. I choreograph for myself. I choreograph for other people. I teach. I do all the things. And I'm also trying to learn how to DJ.
Oh, that's cool. I've always wanted to DJ ever since I was little. I'm like,
It's
I want
fun.
to
It's
DJ.
easy. You'd be great at it. It's really fun.
I would love. Thank you. That's very kind of you. See how nice Leos are, folks. Do you see that? See how saucy they also are. Anyway, so now let's go ahead and go over to your 11th house. This is your social house. Okay. So how like what kind of social groups and activities you like to be a part of, how
Mhm.
you're seen socially. So you are seen as kind of the referee, right? A little bit socially. You're the middle person a lot of the time, trying to like fix everything. Stop it. If they got a problem with each other, let them figure it the That's what that's telling me. It's like,
I've
because Libra looks
recently,
for balance. They're looking for balance and justice.
yeah. I've
So,
recently had to set that boundary where I'm like, hey, I'm really good friends with that person in that, group of people that you hate. Friend in
mhm,
this group of people that I love, and friend in this group of people that I love. Y'all got to figure it out on your own. I cannot be the person that y'all both bark at to, well, tell
mhm,
them I said this. Well, you tell them I said this. I can't be that person. Like
yeah,
I'm so busy with the war that's happening in my head. I cannot be the referee at the war in my friend group.
yeah. But you tend to be that person because you will speak up when you think somebody's being unfair,
Yep.
regardless of which side it is.
And
And
not in
that's
like a
why you end
devil's
up being the
advocate
middle person.
way.
Yep, and that's why
Yeah.
you end up being the middleman. And it's just part of who you are because you're trying to be fair. You're not trying to pick a side. You're just trying to say, well,
I just want everybody
that's
to
not
be
fair.
friends. I just want everybody to like each other and dance together and be friends.
Well, let's put it this way. In the world of lesbian land, or sorry, I can say women loving queer land in general, but women loving women or along those lines, it's so hard because it's like I've slept with people who are men, trans men, like it's weird. So I consider myself as a lesbian and queer, right? Since I'm older, I had to go through all these different what do I call myself? But in our world, right, it's pretty incestuous. All right, like we
Yeah.
all know somebody else who has slept with the other person. We walk into a room. There's either like at least probably two other people that we've slept with. Somebody slept with, and that doesn't always go so well for social activities. You know, so I
Yeah.
decided a long time because I used to like coach like the softball teams and stuff.
You
What
look
happened?
hot. Oh my God.
Well, let's
Wait,
show us. You can't be saying that and not show
she
us what's
can't.
going on.
No, I'll get kicked off TikTok if she comes on the camera.
Are you
You look
trying to
beautiful.
distract her while I am trying to read her chart? Do you see this?
It's
Capricorns
my
are
roommate.
unrelentless. Oh, oh, it's your roommate. Uh-huh. Whatever you want to say. Yeah. What the hell? They're like, hey, how's it going? I say, well, bye. Uh, so this is the last house, okay? All right. So the
Yeah.
last house is the 12th house of intuition and dreams, right? And it's ruled by Scorpio. So even more than your rising, the fact that Scorpio rules the 12th house gives you a lot of psychic ability because you have a very good gut instinct. Okay? Whether you listen to it or not is different, but you have it, right?
Yes.
So
And the
you
gut
have that
is
instinct.
seldom wrong. My gut, I mean, I feel like this goes
Right.
for everybody, but like the gut is they say your gut is your God or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like it
Yeah.
is kind of never wrong.
And for you, it's specifically pattern changes. So
Mm.
Scorpios tend to notice when things change slightly. They can notice the slight because they fear people lying to them, right? They don't like that. They do not want to be lied to. So there's a little bit of hesitation and they're like, I just want to, you know, see what's going on here. And if you get that weird feeling, you're like, out. Um, I
Hmm.
also, my Scorpio rules my 12th house and I have I'm Scorpio Venus. So when relationships end, they're gone. Like I'm done. That's how it goes. But for you, it would be more like you don't have a placement of Venus in there. So for you, it's literally about just having this emotional intuition to yourself, being able to call out. You're a bullshit caller outer, right? Like you can smell bullshit from 47 miles away, at least maybe 48 miles. I don't know,
That's a very
but
specific number.
yeah, just what came out. I don't know. So that's what that indicates. Now you do have aspects, and we can talk about them if you would like, but it could be a lot. You could be like, oh, that's too much already. But here, now we can turn this back to this. So now you can see this is all what we just read. We read all these, but in the houses that they were in, so we know what part of your life it affected. So but I think
Hmm.
we should just give this time for you to talk about what's coming up for you. These are the three singles that have been released so far, right here, right? Do I got those right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
And
sick is in my head all the time, and now the big league chew, like that, the angel wing after the angel wings, it's stuck in my head. So if you all haven't listened to any of these, go to her YouTube, or is that where you prefer they go, or where do you want people to listen to
YouTube,
them?
Spotify, yeah, the music videos are really, really cool, and
Mm-hmm.
they were very expensive to make. So I would love it if people could check those out, give those some love on YouTube.
Absolutely.
And then if you are into it, add me to your Spotify playlists. Send my
Yeah.
songs to your friends or your crushes or your situationships. They're more like situationship songs, Loki.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm working on a full album, which those songs and more will be on.
You. So that'll be coming out soon. What else are you doing? Is there anything else you want to tell besides being a line dancing master and
Yes, if
teacher?
you're in Brooklyn or if you're in New York, every Sunday I'm at Desert Five Spot teaching line dancing. My party is called Buck Wild. It's super fun, super queer, super sexy. We line dance to country music, but also to whatever I want because I'm the DJ.
Nice.
And what else? I have some fun, exciting film and TV projects that I cannot say anything about. Yeah,
Uh,
yep,
those are my
yep.
favorite kinds.
It's gonna be a
Um,
fun summer.
that's cool. That's awesome. I mean, I feel like there's just so much energy for you right now, and I feel like you're starting to like everything's starting to come together for you more than it has previously.
Yeah, I
and you're
feel like
just kind
the
of connecting
move
things.
the move to New York and my last relationship ending and kind of just this me following the little gut voice
Hmm.
all the way from LA to New York has really kind of opened up a new chapter of my projects and my
Yeah.
life. And I'm super stoked on all that's to come.
Yes. So make sure you're all following Rivka on all socials. There's TikTok, which we're on right now. Instagram. Make sure you go to YouTube, check out the channel, turn on your notifications for all of her stuff as well, so you know when a new song comes out or video and those sorts of things. One more thing I wanted to read about your chart that I figured you would be curious about, and I didn't put
Yes.
it up on there, but there's a asteroid called Juno. Okay, and Juno is called the marriage asteroid. And so I looked it up to see where it is. It's in Gemini for you. So it's in your relationship house already, which is crazy. But um, it means that the kind of relationship that you look for is intellectually stimulating, right? And your needs are witty banter. You need to be able to have witty banter with somebody. And in conflict, if there's conflict in it, what it is, it's passive aggressive, usually conflict. At worst, the relationship is unpredictable, but at its best, it's very social and outgoing and inclusive, if you will. And because it is in that seventh house, it means that you're seeking reflection from somebody else, somebody who has also done hard work and has self realization, just not in your lane, right? So if that helps at all, even though the person you are currently dating is not a Gemini, that's not what it means. It's talking about how you look at relationships overall, not what sign you're looking for. You know?
The intellectual stimulation is so key. Yeah, I've not heard the Juno read my Juno thing read that way
Mm-hmm.
before. So it feels very validating to hear that because that is like I would say probably my number one like value in a relationship is somebody that like yes is like hot and sexy and fun to be with, but also somebody that I can have these like deep intellectual conversations with.
Yeah,
So,
that's crazy,
yay!
right? And you might be a sapiosexual a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, are
yeah.
you familiar? Sapiosexual, for those who don't know that are listening,
That used to be on
is
my, yeah, that was on
intelligent.
my
You're turned on
dating
by
app.
intelligence. Yeah.
That was on my dating app profile. But then somebody made fun of me for it because they were like, who isn't? And I'm like, there are people who don't give a fuck what, like, yeah, they don't care
Yeah.
about like any sort of like brain stuff. They are just here for one thing.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
have
that's some people,
experienced
not
that.
everybody. Like when I'm on the dating apps, I'm looking for one particular thing. I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm here for a fun time, not a long time. Because we're poly.
Period.
Sorry, we're poly. So
And that's okay. And you don't have to apologize for being poly. This is a
thank
safe
you. I appreciate
space.
that. Yeah, well, we
I'm
lived in
like
Portland for a
not,
long
but
time. It's fine, but here in
uh
Arizona, it's
oh,
a
I didn't know you
little
were in
different.
Arizona.
Yeah, I had to
Hmm.
move back here from Portland because my mom.
Yeah.
And
Uh
so now I
yeah.
actually grew up in Arizona. So now I'm back in it. And my poor girlfriend, who was born in Hawaii but grew up in California, was just like, oh, it's too
Are
hot.
you at least near like Sedona or something cool
No,
like
we're
that?
in Phoenix. So yeah,
Uh,
it's hot.
okay.
102 today. Yeah.
Damn.
But yeah, but because I grew up here, we can go. Like I know all the like places and stuff. Like I feel like that's a different kind of adventure. So we'll see. I don't know. I don't know if we'll stay here or what. we
Mhm.
we tend to move every once in a while. So I don't know
Yeah.
why. It just happens. Like we're like, oh, let's go somewhere else.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah, I'm also very much like if I need to pick up my shit and go, I will. Like,
Hmm.
but I feel like New York is always going to be like the place where I feel the most alive and like I feel like it's the most accessible for me as a person who does
Hmm.
not know how to drive, nor do I intend to learn how to drive. Like I'm a public transit ride
Interesting.
or die girly.
Look at
Yeah,
this.
never
I didn't
learned.
know this. Hold on, let me write this down. Rivka does not know how to drive. That was not on my bingo card. I had no idea.
Never learned, never had a license.
That's awesome. Like, I
Passenger
wish it
princess for
was here,
life.
but like, I love when I moved to Boston. I went to school in Boston, and when I did, for college, I didn't have a car, and I loved it. I loved it so much.
It's liberating
But
until it's not, until you're like, oh,
yeah,
I need to figure out a way
the
to get
groceries
from.
are a bitch, aren't they?
Well, it's cool though, because you know, here in New York we have a lot of bodegas where you can just like grab what you need for the day and then just like walk home with like a single bag of groceries rather than like shop for the week. That's at
Hmm.
least what I tend to
How that's
do.
how you do it? Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
We've learned all
You
sorts of new
know,
and interesting stuff about you today.
fun
You got
stuff.
read. You got your astrology read. We learned a couple. We even learned some gossip in the celebrity world. Oh,
With
I
no
love it.
intention. I did not intend to come on here and spill that tea, but you
Yeah, but
know,
we don't know exactly what they said or whatever, But it's cool to know that. I'm glad that they buried the hatchet, though. I'm glad.
I think it was very quick and like all that was said was like the beef is squashed. You are forgiven.
Wow.
That
Wait, by
is
who?
how
Who said the beef is squash? Mags or Elton?
I think it was Matt. I
Hmm.
think it was her that was kind of like, you know what? Let's forgive each other.
Yeah. So that's a Leo move for sure, and Elton is an Aries. So.
Oh, did not know. Love
Hmm.
that for him.
Hmm. Hmm. Jack's a Virgo.
Famously.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Yes.
remember a lot of people's, not
And so
everybody's, but
it's
I can
Kiki
remember.
Palmer.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of good Virgos in my life. I love the Virgos.
How close did you get to SZA during the movie?
I was there on a I
Personal
was there.
question for you. No,
I was
you
there.
were there.
Um
Hmm.
she walked past me.
Hmm.
I was like and that was it. That was the entire thing. Issa Rae too was like on set on the day. She produced
Oh
the
yeah,
movie. So I mean it was just like me, Kiki, Issa, SZA all in the same room at the same time. I was like, oh like shit, this is like the most beautiful room of people I've ever been in.
that's
Everyone's
so
so
cool.
gorgeous.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You see, just like what's funny is anytime I do like a celebrity or even a reality star or whatever reading, I always just am like, they're a person. They're just a person. They have other things that happen. Like, they're amazed by other people. They have those things as well. So, yeah, you're just a person trying to get along in the world like the rest of us. But, except for you have a lot more people that like you than some of us, but it's okay. It's fine.
Yeah. What can
um,
I
but
say?
but I thank you so much for doing this. I have taken up quite a bit of your time. I took up
It's
90
all
minutes
good.
and I
I could
only
talk to you
said 60, but
forever. I could talk to you
and
forever.
me, you.
And
We're just gonna come on and gossip every once in a while, folks. Catch us on here now. We'll start our
yes.
own gossip TikTok channel.
Ooh, celeb gossip via the stars.
Yeah, we only talk
I
about
love
queer
that.
celebrities though,
I love it. So
right?
lesbians.
Let's do our own Made It Out podcast. How about that, Mal? I hope you see this.
Ooh.
No, I'm just
Uh-oh.
I'm just kidding.
Squashing beef.
Yeah, no, we don't
Starting
have any
beef
beef.
with
We
who
love
made
each
it
other.
out. Okay, good.
Yeah, we're good.
I'll talk to you
So
soon. And thank you for
yes, thank you
having
so
me
much.
on.
Everybody give it yes. Okay, thank you all who
Bye.
were here to watch and see y'all next time. Check this out live on YouTube. Make sure you're going and following Rivka. And until next time, everybody, take care of yourselves. Look out for each other. Cheers.